Hey, I'm Red, and today we're gonna go over the simple music theory behind Kanye West's True Love, and how you can use it to make your own Kanye West or X-type melodies. I don't want to waste your time, so let's get into it. This track was produced by John Cunningham, Kanye West, and OG Volta. Now, there are three main elements that together make this melody sound the way it does, and those are chords and contour, sound selection, and cinematic drums. I'll explain to you each of them now, and later I'll show you how I would apply them. First, this chord progression was made in the key of C# minor. Usually when it comes to sad chord progressions, we like to use minor scales, but there is a certain sound to a minor 3 in a major scale that when used right, and by right I mean usually along with a minor 6 chord, it can make for a very sad sounding progression. As you know, every major scale has 7 basic triad chords, from 1 to 7. These chords are built on the 7 notes of a scale with notes in their respective roots, thirds, and fifths. These ones are major, and these ones are minor. And this one is a diminished chord, which doesn't sound very good, so we don't use it very often. Now, True Love uses a simple variation of the classic emotional chord progression 1-3-6. The variation is that it doesn't use the 1 here in the beginning, but uses the 2 chord. The emotional part of this progression, in my opinion, lies here, in the switch from 3 to 6. This progression also adds a major 5 chord in the end to lead back smoothly to the 2 here. It leads back smoothly because this C leads nicely to this A sharp, and this G sharp leads to this F sharp. The move from here to here feels nice because they are right next to each other if you look at the notes in the scale. And since we're going down, it makes it feel like we're just passing through this chord and landing on this one. You can see that this progression has a simple up and down contour. Going up in the beginning and down in the end is very common in pop and trap beats because, like I said before, it helps lead smoothly back into the first chord. Okay, so now that we know the music theory behind why these chords sound emotional, we can use it to make a sad progression of our own. In this case, I'm going to stay on the classic 1-3-6 progression, adding in this case a 4 in the end instead of a 5. The reason behind that is that these 2 notes land nicely into these 2 notes here, which makes the progression feel complete, just like in True Love. Now that we have our final chord progression, it's time to first make it sound complete, and then I'll show you how to switch the piano into a cinematic Kanye style synth and pads progression. For the piano, first we need to make the progression occupy more frequencies to make this melody sound more complete. My favorite way to do that is to move all the thirds up by 1 octave. Next, we need some texture. And done! Now we can move on to making the switch into the cinematic synths and pads. There are 4 simple steps to achieve this: mid-range, high-end, low-end, and lastly drums. Now I can't tell you exactly how to do this, but I usually first start with the same MIDI and paste it into a pad that has a lot of mid-range frequencies. In this case, I chose this organ. After that, I start building on that by choosing instruments that can work around that organ without fighting for the same frequency space. Just so you get an idea on what to look for, here are the presets I ended up choosing, in the order I added them. This is the preset I chose for the low end. The basic goal here is to use layering to get a greater sound, so the frequency range can go from looking like this to this. And for the last step, we need some cinematic drums. For this, I simply went on looperman.com and looked for cinematic drums in the BPM of this melody, and this is what I found. And now for the transition between piano and the rest of the instruments, I simply added a reversed reverb on the instruments along with a bit of extra space. And with that, the beat is finished. If you want to use this melody loop, there's a free download link in the description. Use it however you want, just credit me if you end up using it. If you want to see more music theory videos, there's a bunch already on my channel and more coming very soon. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you subscribe if you like. Anyway, here's the final beat. See ya.